Good morning, and here is another Substack reading and a couple of poems for you today. When life truly humbles you, you cannot return to who you once were. So perhaps the question is not whether we will be humbled. Life will see to that. The question is whether, when it comes, we resist it or allow it to take us deeper. There is a truth that keeps returning to me, one that I don't think we speak about enough, especially on the spiritual path. That which humbles us makes us deeper, not stronger in the way the world defines strength, not more capable or more in control, but deeper, closer to something essential, something real. Humbling is not something we can seek out or practice. It cannot be manufactured or cultivated by the will. In fact, the very part of us that would try to become humble is the part that must, at some point, be undone. Humbling does not arrive as an idea or a virtue. It arrives as a breaking. Something in us gives way, a layer falls, a protection we didn't know we were holding begins to dissolve, and what remains is not polished or composed, but raw and often uncomfortable. In my own life, this has come in different ways. I remember meeting a teacher many years ago who did not meet me in any conventional sense of kindness or encouragement. There was a directness, even a fierceness, that cut through whatever I was presenting. I was not allowed to enter as I was, not because I was unworthy, but because what I was presenting was not true. Something in me was seen through, and in being seen through, it could no longer sustain itself. It was not pleasant, but it was real, and something in me knew it. Later, this humbling came in a much longer and more relentless form through illness. Years of it. Not a brief interruption, but a slow dismantling of the life I thought I had. The identity I carried and the control I believed I possessed. Over time, it broke me. Not in a single dramatic moment, but gradually, layer upon layer. When something breaks you in that way, you do not return to who you were before. You cannot rebuild the same structure because you have seen through it. You have lived its fragility. There is a humility that comes from this, but it is not something you adopt. It is the natural result of seeing clearly, seeing that we are not in control in the way we imagined, seeing that life does not conform to our preferences, seeing that much of what we present to the world and to ourselves is a form of protection. We wear many identities: the strong one, the capable one, the wounded one, the one who avoids, the one who pleases, the one who knows. These are not inherently wrong, but they function as coverings. They stand between us and the immediacy of our experience, between us and the vulnerability of simply being here without defense. Humbling has a way of removing these coverings, not because we decide to let them go, but because something in life renders them untenable. A loss, an illness, a failure, a confrontation with truth. Life has many ways of bringing us to our knees, and yet In a culture that increasingly emphasizes safety and control, even within spirituality, we tend to overlook this. We want awakening, but without disruption. We want truth, but without being undone. We want depth, but without the cost. And yet, something in us knows that this is not how it works. There is a depth that cannot be reached through comfort alone. Perhaps we do not have to wait for the larger events. The invitation is already present in the smaller moments, in the times we feel exposed, when something does not go our way, when we are confronted or challenged, or when we begin to see our own patterns and defenses more clearly. Each of these moments carries within it the possibility of humbling, a small undoing if we are willing to stay. Because, in a very real sense, death is not something that only happens at the end of life. It is present in every moment when something false falls away. The death of an identity, the death of a story, the death of the one we take ourselves to be. What remains is not diminished. It is simpler, more honest, more open. It is more capable of love, more capable of meeting life without the need to shape it into something else. This is not a path that most would consciously choose. And yet, for those who are drawn to what is real, it may be unavoidable. So perhaps the question is not whether we will be humbled. Life will see to that. The question is whether, when it comes, we resist it or allow it to take us deeper. Just 3 short poems here. Sometimes a great sorrow comes upon me, as though love has wrapped me in a warm embrace, so unconditional that all I can do is weep. I have always gravitated to the idea that every human life has value, but I have never recovered from the realization that not all people feel the same. The heart opens, all of existence pours in. We become a conduit for the divine. The defended self dies into this. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed day.